Yeah, so hi everyone. Not everyone, like we have Rakshita here, who is also my colleague. Yeah, so my name is Sagar Kakkala, and now we are here for a DevOps session. And today is like day 17 on the like DevOps to GitOps 20 days series. But I think like we would be ending it in like day 18 itself because we clubbed two sessions together. So instead of 20, it will be like day till 18, and this session would be like GitOps. And since Sagar Kakala's world, the YouTube and everything is a mix of diversified content. You have like travel, DevOps, finance, podcasts, and bit of other stuff. Since it's a bit difficult to segregate content, I'll just share screen to show how things work here. Um, you just had to remember my name and search in Google, Sagar Kakala, and you'll have my website, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And in YouTube, like everything is separated by playlist. You'll have it in the home tab itself, the main playlist. And this session would be uploaded in DevOps with Sargakala
Do you
English. And I would prefer to go in a consecutive order because everything is connected. And like there are few sessions which are not interconnected. But to understand things better, it would be a bit thing like from day zero to understand everything on a sequence. And here in the website, like everything is separated by contents of the blog. You have DevOps and finance both at the same page. And here, if you want to like, you had like went to any session to navigate back to the page, you just had to click on logo. Yes, that said, like we'll get into the main concept today, GitOps. So before we start into GitOps, like there is a bit of concepts that we could link, like how GitOps works. Let's say like we have a phones, let's say like we'll go with the simple concepts of understanding of GitOps. Let's say you have like two phones, you have the Google Photos here. I'm just taking a generic example, and here in the both phones, like you have Google Photos. And if they both have the same ID, let's say if they both were synced with the same ID, you mean the same email account. Let's say both have the same Gmail account in both the phones. Now, what happens is, let's say I took a picture and I uploaded it in this phone, and like there is a particular time like where this Google Photos application backs up that photo. Once it has backed up that photo, you'll be able to see this even in the other device. So this happens because of this account, like Gmail account, like because these both were in sync and these are connected with an Google account. So the same way, instead of like you having a particular time of backup of the day, you could just click on an option called backup, and immediately like this photo gets reflected into all other phones or something like which is integrated with Gmail account. The same concepts works here in GitOps. In GitOps, like we have various tools like FluxCD, ArgoCD. There were many, but like we'll talk about this tool called ArgoCD. I'm not sure if it is there. Hmm. Let's say maybe yeah, let's say how this ArgoCD works is the similar concept that we just discussed. Because it's a GitOps, you'll have a GitHub repo that we have like all the files. And once like we have an account, and also we have like AWS server. Mm. Or let's say Kubernetes. Yes, say let's say Kubernetes or something like which is deployed in our AWS server. Yeah, we'll see it in practical, nothing to worry. So what happens is like we will have Argo CD account, just like yeah, maybe let's say a helper. This helper guy could be an Argo CD tool. So this Argo CD tool, what happens was like we'll be logging in both the servers. Like this gets connected, like this Argo CD, this tool gets connected with GitHub and also your Kubernetes repo. So what happens? It's the same concept like the Google Photos. It's like if there is any change in GitHub, this gets reflected in the server. So it's like let's say we have like three pods or four pods of the application. So immediately the server gets replicated. So what's the benefit of it? As you know, the application is actually being run on pods. Like the websites these days are run on pods, and these pods, let's say, like we have some traffic coming in a lot, and like you want to increase the pods. Like in the traditional process, how it happens was a developer or some guy, like he actually changes the code, like let's say, or a DevOps guy changes it in the code, like the replica is 4, but what happens is he has to redeploy everything. So the build process, which has to take like 40 minutes, it has to go for 40 minutes and then go for deploy stage, and then only it changes replica from 4 to 5, so that like we can attack, like compromise the attacking traffic. So that's how it is. But like what happens with GitOps is you don't have to follow this build process again. You don't have to like go for 40 minutes of build to wait just to change the replica, because replicas doesn't depend on build, like it depends on deploy stages. Like it's mostly deploy stages. If you are on the concepts of DevOps, like we have CI and CD. So CI is continuous integration where the build part takes place, and CD is where like continuous deploy takes place. And this Argo CD is called the CD tool, like the continuous delivery, like continuous deployment tool. Yeah. So this is CD tool because you don't have to go for build and everything, and you could like get whatever your desired states. Let's say if there is a season or a festive season, or Amazon is going for a festive seasons or discounts, and like a lot of people are coming and the traffic is growing, and the pods which are inside the application were like not sufficient, you don't have to run the build, and you just had to like change it in the GitHub repo, and if it is in sync, it'll automatically reflect, like let's say it'll update it to like 4 or 5 replicas. Till here the concept is clear, right, of the Argo CD. Like we'll get into practical, like to understand it more better. Yes.
Yes, Sagar.
Obrigado. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we have the GitOps blog here, which I'll be changing into day 17 later. So this is what I explained on that, like comparing, and like we'll start with installing the Argo CD tool. So yes, the tool that we had to sync in both the repos and everything. Okay, since it's a micro K8s that I installed, and here we before, like if you want Argo CD to work, because it's a deployment tool, we need to have Helm Charts and Kubernetes installed, because Argo CD works only with both of these repos and nothing else. It's either actually Helm or either actually Kubernetes. That's it. Okay, sorry, my bad. So it did not create the namespace. Okay, once the Argo CD is created, okay, let's close this. Yes, this is a kubeconfig file. It's just because we were using micro K8s instead of Kubernetes, because Kubernetes requires at least like 2 servers, like one is master node and one is server node, whereas micro K8s is like a lightweight Kubernetes tool. And that's where like we are telling it like the micro K8s runs in different port for Argo CD. However, this has been done. So we are going to expose our port, I mean like our expose our Argo CD tool, because we had installed it now and we had to access it. And because it is running in our Kubernetes, we need to expose the port for us to get into our Argo CD tool. Mm, Get SVC service, no resources found in Argo CD. Something is wrong. Okay, so the service, like we had exposed it to a NodePort. NodePort is just like an application that we could access it like from anywhere in the application. NodePort is actually used mostly for the testing purpose, and because this is a demo, I'm just exposing it to NodePort. In reality, we'll not be exposing it to NodePort. Yeah, let's go for like ArgoCD server now runs on like 32411. So like if you want to access this application on 32411 and there is something like we had to do because I had done it already. It's more like to access on the traffic. We had to like expose that port. Let's say it's as simple as that. It's expose port. And then here in the security group rules, like for the instance that we are actually running the Argo CD because we want it to run, we'll just click on like add rule, custom TCP, and the port which it is exposed on was like 32411. So we'll expose the port 32411 and we'll allow it to flow from every traffic because my laptop IP is different. So we are just going for to allow every IP. In reality, in the companies, it will be like a IPs ranges that the companies uses that we would be having here. But now, like anyone would be able to access mine. So 32411. So it's like public IP. So if I want to access the application, public IP colon 32411. Yes, continue to the site because it doesn't have SSL. So that is where it's like it's not allowing me. Yeah, we are finally here. Like Argo CD was installed successfully. Now we need a username. Username is default admin, but password, like we have passwords inside the Kubernetes secrets that we had installed the application. We'll get the password from here itself. Mm, so this is the secret, and you'll have like initial admin secret that we get the password from. Yeah, so here from Ubuntu to here. Yeah, this is how Argo CD UI looks like. And now, yes, now we'll be installing ArgoCD CLI because we want to use it from inside the server. If we want to use it from inside the server, we need a CLI tool that works with this. And this is something the code I got from ArgoCD Direct, the official documentation itself, which I had provided the link here as well to navigate. So this is not of my command, it's just a command in official documentation. Mm, let's wait. Okay, now the Argo CD CLI is installed. And once it's installed, we, as I suggested, in the like while I was taking Gmail, like we had to log in into this account and like both the phones. The same thing we are doing here. We are actually logging in here. So, but here our server is different because I was working with different IP then. So here our Argo CD IP is this. This is our Argo CD server application. Yeah, we'll be giving this insecure tag because like we don't have SSL certificate. It's just like this. This is SSL. This is site is secure. As you can see, connection is secure. And here this the connection is like insecure, not secure. So that is where we're allowing it to log in even though it's insecure. That's it. The username is admin and the password is something like that you got here. You could actually change the password directly from the application in the UI or as well like here using CLI. Like we will be having like we'll be using the CLI to update the password. Now account password, enter password of currently logged in user. Where is the password? Yes, here is the password. Okay, the password got updated. And now We are actually because the password is updated and we want it to be secure. Like we don't want anyone to steal our password. That's where I'm deleting the initial admin password. This is a part of setup. It's like we're still configuring Argo CD. And now, like because the CLI is created, so there is like a test repo inside the Argo CD repo itself. It's officially provided by Argo CD tool just to test. And so I'm using one repo from inside it to test. So I'm creating an application using Argo CD app create. Let's see if it creates or not. And because the namespace is default, I could just give kubectl get pods and you'll be able to see the application. Yes, the application is running. And now let's see if it reflects in our app. Okay, because I changed the password. Yeah, the guest book. This is the one like that is created a few seconds ago. It's like the sync. It's just like as I explained in Google Photos, you click on black up, it's just the sync. Now it's actually synced with this repo, this GitHub repo, especially this, the guest book repo, and our server. Like these both were in sync now. Like this is actually provided by Argo CD itself, an example. Now let's actually like do something with our repos that we have. Yes, as you could see, like this is something like if you want like if there is something unhealthy, let's say the servers or something, the pods are unhealthy, you could just view it in a UI way. So let's say this is service and this is pod. If I want, this is deploy, and if I want to check inside server, like if there is any issue that is going on, let's say get SVC, and we have like guestbook UI, okay, it's running fine, and like you want to check the deploy, the guestbook UI, it's running fine. So like I had to go for each and every command to check like if something is going on wrong. But Argo CD here like gives in a diagrammatic way, like if there is something unhealthy, let's say the pod is unhealthy. So it like it'll show it in the here and you could like directly navigate to that particular file and I mean like the particular resource and you could actually troubleshoot it. So this is another way of like easy troubleshooting, like it helps in this way as well. And now let's go for our repos that we have. Yeah, yes. Before we go to our repo, we will be creating a token actually. And why is this token needed? It's because we want our Argo CD to have some secrets or something to be pushed. And like to push that, like we need because GitHub by default doesn't allow passwords to log in. It's completely tokens now as per the new updates. So we need a token from pushing any change that we did from server to GitHub repo. So you just had to click on profile, your profile and developer settings, personal access token. And these tokens are actually like very confidential and not to be shared. Okay, 1 second, I'll go for the authenticator app. Mm, my fingerprint isn't working. Okay. So you can take care that repo and write packages both must be like selected. Like another things could be ignored, but these could be this must be selected. Let's say GitOps or something. I'm just generating token. Hmm, yes, I'm just saving it somewhere. Let's save it in Notepad. Yes. Yes, fine. So we got the token. And yeah, we'll know what the token is being used for. And once the token is done, like there is this token we were using because we need SSL certificate to be configured, because like we had an SSL certificate that we had configured in the previous sessions for our website. Our website is sagarkakkala.shop that we were actually using to deploy our application here. And for that SSL certificate, like we need to have like certificates and the other keys, because this is ArgoCD, and we had to keep our secret inside GitHub repo. So that is where like we were using like the token to push secret to here. And also there is a bit of complications because like we can't put our directly the certification details or the SSL certificate details or key details directly in GitHub repo. But as well, like if we do not keep, like our application won't be up. So this is where like there's a bit of complications, and we had to encrypt the secret and we had to send it to our repo. Even though it's publicly exposed, no one could use that data. That's how we had to configure. And that is where like Argo CD even offers something called as secret managements. And these are all the things that you could use for secret managements. And here in this session, I had used like Bitnami sealed secrets. If you want, you could use Helm secrets, KSOps, or like for everything, you have a detailed documentations of like how it needs to, how it to be used and integrated. As of now, yeah, since we had the secret already, let's create something, the SSL keys. So I'm just here creating a new namespace for our application, React Micro. Okay, it is. Yes, meanwhile this is being done, I'll just update our public IP in the GoDaddy account. Uh,
Sagar, I have just one doubt.
yes,
So, this approach that you listed out there, is it like, is there like a best approach or does it changes from situation or scenario based?
what approach? Like what approach exactly?
The so you showed a list of
Uh,
saving secrets or
Vietnamese,
maintaining
yes.
maintaining the certificates. So is there is there any suggestion or any recommendation by the Argo CD side that this approach is the best approach for you, or does it change from scenario to scenario?
No, it depends on company's architect or solutions. If they have like, some people use Ansible vaults and some
Mhm,
people use HashiCorp vault for which they pay a license already. So if they
mhm.
have HashiCorp vault already, they could just integrate that. If they don't
Okay.
have anything, they could like use whatever is provided. Or this actually decides by architect and FinOps team. So there'll
Okay.
be like a FinOps team like which would go on the budgets as well. Like if the budget is allowing, or they could even use AWS secrets as well. So
Mhm.
it depends on company to company.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
Uh,
Thank you.
yes. So here I'm creating the secret because I want my SSL certificate to be in a YAML file. Says, this is a YAML file that we are outputting it to YAML file, and we are actually not creating a secret. It's just we are outputting it and inputting it to some React secret.yaml. So that's what I'm doing. Since this is old website that I did, I'll just change a few lines here. That's it. Hmm, yes. So this would be something like SKSSL. Like I'll just give the name SKSSL. It's just the secret name that I'm giving, because I don't need this namespace anymore because I created React Micro KTS. Yes. These files are something like you get when you configure, yeah, when you configure SSL certificates. So this is something like in the file key that I have was like skshop.key, and here I think it's sargacolor.show. Yes. So these are the files which I got from when I configured the SSL certificate. And this is something like before configuring certificate, I had to generate key and CSR. which is actually in the SSL session. So I'm creating a secret here. So if it is like react secret.yaml, as you could see, okay, the namespace it went for React demo. I don't know why it shouldn't have been gone that like that way. Okay, I made a mistake. So the namespace is like React micro Kubernetes because it's a new repo. Yeah, now it's perfect. So this is the certificate and this is the key, and we cannot put directly inside our GitHub repo. So what we are going to do, we are going to install a secret that's provided that's called like Bitnami sealed secrets. And for that, like we're going to use Bitnami sealed secrets. And how this secret works and why I'm saying like this secret is bit safe. Okay, did it install? Okay, it deployed. Yes. Yes. And here, this had some space issues. I will just correct it later. So I just had this notepad. And to use this, I'm just using a Kubeseal version. Kubeseal version 0.2.23.0. We could use like anything you want. You just like change the version here in the variable of what version you prefer. Hmm. Yes, and how this cube seal works, like this Bitnami sealed secret, how this works, and why I'm saying that like one of this is efficient is because let's say you had because like you had encrypted inside this AWS server. Let's say our server is like now the deploy server. And now once I got some secret, let's say I had like a secret and I want to encrypt this. And once I encrypted using Bitnami sealed secrets, let's say now this secret is encrypted. Once this is encrypted and I'm just now this putting this encrypted secrets into our GitHub repo. Let's say the encrypted secret is now put into GitHub repo. And this encrypted repo, let's say like someone third person comes and he steals this data. He could not do anything with it because this is encrypted. Though he wants to decrypt, he cannot decrypt. Even though I encrypted it, even I can't decrypt. And only thing that it could decrypt is the server that it encrypted it. So the deploy server, like which it encrypted, only there it could decrypt. Let's say someone creates a new server. Let's say someone creates a new AWS server, creates kubeseal, and like they get this secret and they try to decrypt it with this like new server and new kubeseal. Even though the application is same, the key could only be decrypted by the server in which it got encrypted. So that is where it's secure. Got the point, right? Yes.
Yes, yes, I understood. So you're saying that only that application has the original key and only that can
Mm,
decrypt it.
yes, so since the deploy server is the one that we are going to encrypt it, because now we have a secret, like React secret, that we had this all the data. Because if this data actually in Kubernetes, this is something called as base 64. Because in Kubernetes, it encrypts with base 64, and base 64 could be like easily decoded. It's like base 64 slash decode, and you get like actual value. So that is where Kubernetes secrets are never preferred. So Kubernetes secrets are encrypted. It's like, base 64 is one level of encryption, and second level of encryption we must keep because like this data that's exposed is not safe at all because any server could decrypt base 64, not just the server which encrypted, any server. Let's say you took a server, you got this key, you want a value to find, it's just like base 64 decode and you get that. Yes. Now, since we had this installed, let's go for this. Okay, I had like I'll actually yes, I'll add the code snippets here. I forgot this here. Fine. So here we had this secrets. Yeah, the sealed secrets is the one. Now we are going to configure a TLS certificate. TLS certificate is nothing but the encryption key, like which encrypts our secret. So, like if we want to decrypt the key, this is the main key that has to like if the hacker gets this, he'll be able to decrypt it. That's it. And now I'm going to, where is this? Yes. We're actually using this to get into like a sealed secret, and we are going to configure a TLS certificate for it. I mean, like we are going to have this as um, a key, like an encryption key. So for that, I'm just going here and yeah. So since the command key key M BNQ2. And as well, like this sealed secret is being installed in kube system namespace. Since kube system namespace is something for Kubernetes, and in general, nobody touches it because it's something like if you mess with it, your Kubernetes application is down, your website is down. So that's why like nobody messes with it. That's where like because this encryption key is and stands like very high importance. That's where we are installing it inside kube system. Yeah, so we got sealed secret dot certificate. Now using this key, we are going to encrypt our secret, that React secret dot YAML that we had configured. So now, yes. So if I encrypt it now, yeah, so you get a different value. As you could see, TLS dot cert is like ACGN44, and here it is like something like LS04T4. So we understood that it has encrypted. Now this encrypted key, we are going to send it to like append it to another thing called React secret.yaml, sealed secret.yaml. It's just like another file that I'm creating. That's it. Now we have perfectly got this secret. And now the best part to understand is like this ArgoCD works only with two repos. Either it should be like Kubernetes manifest files or it should be like Helm manifest files. Now if I go for my GitHub account, actually yesterday I configured this. Okay, sorry. Yes, we'll go for Kubernetes. Yeah, this is actually a file that I actually configured. Let me delete this file. Yes, so these are like Kubernetes manifest files, the deployment file, the ingress file, and the service file. As you could see, this ingress file uses SKSSL. It's just the SSL certificate that we configured using SKSSL. Now we want this secret to be inside the repo itself. So for that, what we are doing is like we created a sealed secret, like the encrypted secret, even though it's in the repo, no one would be able to um use that. So what I'm going to do now, because I cloned the repo yesterday, I'm just not doing it again. Why is this not going to there? Oh shit. Mm, okay, it's just capital. Hmm. Okay, so now you see, as you could see, now it's just synced with repo. I just synced with repo. And now what we had to do is like we had to, keep that React sealed secret file that we had just generated inside the repo because it's just like maybe I'll just do it. That's better than this. Okay, it's a directory file. So the first thing is like whatever the manifest repos or something. I'm just going to clone this repo. Yeah, once the repo is cloned, because it's a public repo, I'm able to easily clone it. If it is a private repo, the same thing, like we will use the token to clone that repo. It's just like instead of this token, the token that we generated earlier, the initial like this, like we'll be placing it there. Since it's a public repo, I don't need to have token there to clone. But if I want to push, I need to have this for sure. So here, like before, it's a Kubernetes repo, and now it's like GitOps Kubernetes. So we'll just change the commands for it as it is. So React sealed secret. Okay, and this goes inside GitOps Kubernetes repo. It's, it's just the same because the previous repo that I used was like Kubernetes Git repo. It's now GitOps Kubernetes. That's it. It's just now we got this, and now we are going to added React sealed secret. Yes, now we need this token actually. So how we'll use this token? It's just git push HTTPS, and this is a different repo, so I'm going for mine. And here is the token that comes. Where is the token? Hmm. And here comes GitHub. Yes. So once the repo is there, now the repo is looks something like this. We got the sealed secret. And now we're good to go. We got the SSL certificate and everything. So the Kubernetes repo is perfectly fine. And now how we will use this repo inside our Argo CD, because before we had used this. And here, if you want to delete this application, you can just click on delete and your application, okay, guest book, and then delete this. That's it. Now I'm going for a new app because like ours is an app application now. App application now. Let's say like React demo. Project name is like default. If you have like will configure project, there would be like if entire company uses the same Argo CD app, some would be like the developer repo or like any name that's actually there. Yes, fine. The repository URL is the GitHub repo that we had. So this would be our URL, and by default we have to understand that it takes only Kubernetes and Helm files, and path is nothing but dot. And here path is dot because like we are having manifest files directly inside the repo. Like if Argo CD goes into like here it has all the manifest files. But if it has like folders or something like and inside folders you have this manifest files, then you had to mention path as something else. Let's say like here in this repo, if we are taking this repo, the path would be guest book. It will not be dot. Dot would be like directly. Here, if you give dot, it will check the readme dot file because here the path is guest book. Else, if you want a different tab, it should be like path is blue green. So the same thing, since the path is the same, like where it is, so I'm giving just dot and cluster URL because we are configured like it comes by default. And here I'm giving like React micro K8s. And let's see if the namespace exists or not. React microgators, yes, it exists. Okay, fine. Even if it doesn't exist, and one more thing that it would give is the option auto create namespace. It checks whether the namespace is there or not, and by that, like it'll and as well, like if you want this file, like how it is, you could just click on edit as YAML, and you'll see the complete Argo CD file. So what file and like what repo it's using, and what project and what else options you selected. So once this is done, yeah, I'll just show here kubectl get pods minus n React micro KTS because I want to show its application is deployed or not. As you could see, there are no pods or no applications here. How many and as well, I think like we had configured here 1352 18667. Yes, let's go for our domain Sagar Kakkala dot shop. Okay, fine. It's still running on something. Okay, 404. Yes, fine. So because there were no pods, no application, this website is down. So now let's see. Let's redeploy using ArgoCD and see. All you have to do is just have the repo and create. That's it. As I said, like there is an option called backup, and you had to just click on like backup once. So that's how it works. Since out of sync, like why it is saying out of sync is because in GitHub the pods are there, but in our server the pods are not there. So that's where we'll go for sync. That's it, synchronize. And now you see it created the pod. It created only one replica for us, like one pod. Why did it create one pod? And because in deployment.yaml I had given only like replicas is like one. So now let's see the same command, but did it create the application? Yes, it created the application. And here let's see. Yeah, even the website is up. Now let's say the traffic is becoming up, everyone started targeting our website, and our website is something like it's not able to take the load, and we want to increase our pods. Now what happens is like I'll go for like two replicas or whatever is required. I'm just going for two replicas here. So now what happened? Like I did not touch code, I did not do anything. It's just in GitHub I updated replica 1 to 2. And now if we go for like Argo CD, like it will go for out of sync, like it will check at 3 minutes or max something. So now it has like one pod here. Now I'm going to give for sync again. Oh, okay, you could check actually the sync status. No, I think like it will take 3 minutes. Yeah, let's go for sync again. Now the pods are two. So now the application when the user access, even if like one pod is unhealthy, the other pod gets the traffic gets into second pod. And now let's say now you went for version from like 1.0.2 to 1.0.3, and like there were some bugs and a lot of issues that are coming up. Now because like if you keep on troubleshooting 1.0.3, and meanwhile you will lose your potential customers. So what everybody does here is like they roll back to 1.0.2 as an immediate effect so that like they don't lose customers. Meanwhile they troubleshoot, and like once everything is fine, that's where like 1.0.3 is released. And if you want to like jump into the previous version immediately, like we can't like redeploy like git commit revert and whatever the changes are there, the developers changes, we had to revert everything. But instead, Argo CD has this history and rollback. It's just, I want to like, roll back to this version. This is deployed again like 2 minutes ago. So I'll just click on rollback. Are you sure you want to roll back? Yes. So before, sometime we had only one pod, so we got to one pod again. So that's how like even the rollback is helpful. That's how even like the sync is helpful. So that's how it makes the perfect CD tool. Clear on this part, right?
I have one doubt. So let's say there were four pods, okay?
Yeah.
And we deployed some changes and we identified that because of those changes we are observing some customer
Mm.
loss.
Yeah.
Now what you are saying is that we can roll back. So
Mm.
that rollback is independent of the other three pods. Like I can roll back only on one pod and then work on like
And
move the traffic to that pod.
no, no,
No?
no, 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 no. I'm not saying rollback is not just like one pod or three pods. It's more like
Mhm.
rollback is like a complete application here,
To
not
the
just
previous
pod.
version of that
Yeah,
application.
because
Okay.
now if you see these pods, right? This is
Mm-hmm.
running with the application v.1, like let's say 1.3.
Mm-hmm.
Every pod in this would run with application 1.3. It's not just like
Okay.
one would run. And when you give rollback,
Mm-hmm.
every pod will run with previous application 1.2.
Okay.
It's just
Understood.
that I gave an example of rollback because first I gave two pods, then one pod, just to show you
Mhm.
that it actually works. I did that. That it's not like
Okay. Understood. Understood. Got it.
so every pod runs with same.
Okay.
Yes, fine. And now this is about like Kubernetes, like how you use ArgoCD with Kubernetes. As I said, this ArgoCD tool works with only two repos. Like one is, uh, yeah, let me delete this as well. One, yeah, one,
See, right now, the
yes.
oh, the status shows out of sync. So
Uh,
that is because on our Git,
mm,
there are still two. I mean, in the YAML file, we have still selected the replica as two.
yes.
However,
Here it's
still.
only one. So that's where, so it actually checks everything here. So I'm just deleting the namespace here. Delete ns. Namespace is nothing but like isolation. It's like React microcade is this different space where everyone could work, and it's more like dev could work in one namespace. They'll not have any dependency with another namespace. So that's how our application is running in React microcade. Since I stopped this, so yes, it worked perfectly. And now we are going for Helm charts. The same thing which we were used as secret and everything, right? We could use that. But here in Helm chart, I'm going to use something different. I'm going to use, okay, I'm going to create a secret inside our repo itself. I mean, like inside the server itself. Let's say, where is this? Not CD. Yes. So instead of like dry run, this is actually a dry run which will show you the output. It will not create the file. Okay. I'm actually inside this. So GitOps Kubernetes. So that is why it's not working. I'm just going for cd dot dot. Yeah, now it will work. Yeah. So React microcreators and everything is fine. But here we need namespace to create again. Because if we now click this, because I just want to like run this because we gave namespace React microcreators and React microcreators namespace doesn't exist, so that's where it fails. So I'm just creating now again. Yes, the same thing. Now we have another repo called GitOps Helm Charts. So Helm Charts is something the same thing. The manifest files works differently here in Helm Charts. The same thing, just like in Kubernetes, you have like deployment ingress service. But here everything is called via values.file. Like values.file is where the replica count you'll keep and what's the image you want to have, what's the tag you want to have. So everything works from here. So I'm going to use this repo because I want to show like how it works with Helm charts as well. So just going for our application again. Where is this application? Yeah, new app, hmm, React Helm. Project name would be default. This is auto create namespace if we had the namespace already. And the URL, even though it is actually Helm, I would recommend not to select Helm here because it will not work this way here. Because we are actually, because Helm, if you select Helm, it's if they are in Helm chart repo. What I mean by Helm chart repo, it's like, yeah, this was actually Helm repo. Let's say I want something like React, not React, Prometheus. If they are actually inside Artifact Hub or something like you had created an account here, so that is where if it is the Helm repo is different and Git repo is different. So that's where's the difference here. So ours is in Git repo, even though it's Helm chart, we have it in Git repo, not Helm repo. So that's the basic difference. So do not select Helm, even though it's your Helm charts. Like if the Helm charts are in this Helm repo, like Artifact Hub is the Helm repo. As you could see, Helm repo add Prometheus community. So Helm repo, it's in Helm repo is different and GitHub repo is different. So since our file, even though it's Helm charts, like this is a GitHub repo. The point to be taken because I heard like some people they were selecting Helm and it's not working. So that's where I'm stressing on this point. And path is the same as previous because it's directly on the present directory. The same thing, namespace is React micro KTS. And here is where like Helm works on values.yaml. I'm selecting values.yaml file. This selects that. And here is where like it has like host, TC, and the secret is like SKSSL that we created. And we'll be going for React micro KTS because we created secret here. Yeah, SKSSL secret is already there. So everything is perfect. We'll just click on create. That's it. So the same thing, it's out of sync. I'm just clicking sync. As you could see, we got two pods up now. Let's check our application. Yes. So the application is up and it deployed perfectly. The same thing if you had like any change that you want to do in Helm. Let's say like values.yaml, I had changed replicas to 2 to 3. Or something, let's go for here. Let's make a change instead of replicas. Let's make a change of the tag because this is the Docker Hub account that I had, and I'm deploying my images, my application images here, and like everything is by tag. So this is the latest tag. So let's use this tag now just to check our application works because 5860 because with the latest image tag it is something like Docker image has been successfully tagged. This is the one. So let's see what happens with this tag. I don't know if the application is the same or not. Let's where is this? Yes. Yes. Now let's where is this application? Now let's sync again. Why it went for yeah, as you could see it deleted pods and it got the new pods up and running. And now let's see if it actually had. Yeah, now as you could see, the application changed. As per your previous question, it's more like it's not just pod, it redeployed application itself. Got it?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
Hmm. Yes, I think yes, this is how like we were using ArgoCD, and there is another thing like that we could do, like we could use completely integrating our CI/CD flow. Like I had a different repo configured. Like once if I had that repo, this would be looking like this actually. Once if I integrate it, yes, integrate CD as well because this is more like an individual Argo CD session. If once we integrate, this would be completely like this, which I had a repo prepared already and now it flows. I think like I'll take that in next session, and with that like our DevOps to GitOps series would be finished. Yes. I think yeah, I could stop the recording now. I'm done with the session. I have no queries, right?
Okay.